Hi everyone, I hope you're doing well and welcome back to another video of this course. In this video, we're going to be talking about the text inspector, okay? How you can customize your text. So without further ado, let's get started with selecting this text. And in the text inspector, we have different options. As I mentioned before, some of them, I'm going to review them. The first option is the font, that you can easily get access to your local fonts or the Figma fonts, okay? You can easily change your font, and now I'm gonna set it back to Montserrat. The next option is the weight of your font. You can modify it to thin, light, regular, bold, and black. However, keep in mind that these options may be different for different fonts, okay? So I'm gonna set it to regular, and the next property is the font size. As you can see, you can change your font size easily, so I'm gonna change it to 68. You can also do mathematical operations here. I'm gonna divide it by 2, pretty awesome. Then we have the line height, which is so important when you are designing a user interface in terms of visibility of your lines in different screen size. As you can see, it has been set to auto. Figma calculates the line height by percentage, okay? It's based on your font size. So if you want to declare your own line height in pixel, you can easily write, for example, 80 pixel, like this. And now this value is based on pixels, not percentage anymore, like this. The next property is letter spacing, which determines the spacing between your letters, like this. And then we have paragraph spacing. We cannot see the changes here because we have created only one paragraph. So I'm gonna make this font size a little bit smaller. Let's set it to 24. And I'm gonna change the line height to auto. And let's add one more paragraph to it. So I'm gonna write, we are talking about properties, like this. So now if you change the paragraph spacing, you can see that it changes immediately. And then we have the paragraph indentation. And if I increase this, you can see that you can specify this amount and it will add some white space before the first word of each paragraph. All right, I'm gonna undo this. Pretty good. And here we have the horizontal alignments. We have text aligned to left, text aligned to center, and text aligned to right. And after that, we have the vertical alignment. As you can see, I can change it as well. However, keep in mind that this option is only applicable to a fixed size text layer. As you can see, you can apply these changes because we are using a fixed size text layer. But if I create another text here, hello, I am testing it. Now if I change the vertical alignment, nothing happens, okay? You have also some advanced properties that you can get access to by clicking on these 3 dots. Here you have the preview section that you can preview each operation whenever you hover your mouse on top of these options. So the first one is resizing, and I have explained you in the previous video. You have 3 different options: grow horizontally, grow vertically, and fixed size text layer. Then you have alignment, like this. And after that, you have decoration. As you can see, it's set to none, so we don't have any decoration. However, you can choose underline or strike through, like this. After that, we have the letter case. You can specify which kind of letter case you want to use. For example, this one is uppercase. We have lowercase. So if I choose uppercase, all of my letters become uppercase. Okay, if I choose lowercase, as you can see, the changes apply immediately. And then we have title case, we have small caps, and forced small caps. Pretty awesome. We have also case sensitive forms. However, it's not applicable for this selected text, so we're gonna leave it for now. Then we have numbers, so we cannot see the changes here because we are not using any number in our text, but you can preview them here. All right, you can even choose the fraction. It's totally about numbers, and these are so advanced, and most of the time we don't use them in our design process. All right, guys, that's all for this video. Thank you so much for watching it. and I will see you in the next video. Hello everyone, I hope you're doing well and welcome back to another video of this course. In this video, we're going to be talking about text styles. Actually, styles allow you to specify a set of properties in order to reuse them across your projects, and you could also share them with your team. So in this video, we are going to dive into text styles, and I'm going to show you how important it is to create your text style when you're designing a user interface. Suppose that you're designing a very complicated project, which consists of 50 or more screens. In this case, you're using a specific font, and after a while, you suddenly decide to change, for instance, the font of your header, or even the font size or the weight. So wouldn't it be nice that you could make those changes once, and the changes would apply to all your text at the same time? That's fantastic. This is what text styles do. So now without further ado, let's get started with inserting a new text. I'm gonna add, for instance, header 1, and I'm gonna make it bold. Actually, when you're designing a website, we have 6 different types of headers from H1 to H6 in HTML. You don't need to know every detail about it. However, it's good to be familiar with some terms and some rules of HTML or CSS. Alright, now it's our header 1, and I'm gonna set the size to 80 like this, and then I'm gonna create my first text style. How can I do that? It's so easy. Do you see these 4 dots? I'm gonna click on that, and here there is a plus icon which lets me create a new text style, and I'm gonna write H1. Then let's duplicate it. Let's write H2 here. Alright, and here as you can see, it uses the previous text style that we just defined for header 1. So first of all, we need to detach it from its style, okay? And then I'm gonna set it to 60, pretty good. And I'm gonna create another text style, and let's call it H2. Let's duplicate that. Once again, detach it from its text style, and let's set it to 30. I'm gonna write header 3. Let's create a new text style as well, H3, and that's all. So now how can we apply our text styles to our text layers? So let me create a new text. I'm gonna write promotions, okay? And as you can see, it automatically uses H3. You can easily change that by clicking on this menu, and I'm gonna set it to H2. There we go. And if I go to my text style here, header 2, and I make some changes, those changes will apply to these promotions text as well. So let's give it a try. Let's go to H2, and here you have edit style. I'm gonna click on that, and for instance, I'm gonna make it regular. There we go. Did you see how amazing it is to use text styles? You can also change the font size. For instance, I'm gonna set it to 40, and that's done. However, keep in mind that if you change the text color, it doesn't apply to the instance of that text style. So if I, for instance, change the color of this header 2, for example, to this color, as you can see, nothing happens. Because for that, we need to create a color style, which we will cover in the future lessons. Alright, now let me duplicate these promotions, and then we can try H3 as well. Alright guys, that's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next video. Hi everyone, and welcome back to another video of this course. In this video, we're going to be talking about constraints and responsive layouts. So what are constraints? And why do we need to make our design responsive? So suppose that you're designing a web page or an application screen, and you're using, for instance, this artboard, MacBook Pro, okay? Then what happens when your user uses the portrait mode like this? So if you didn't make your design responsive, everything would be disorganized. So in this video, we're going to be talking about constraints and how you could make your pages responsive. First of all, I'm gonna design a simple landing page here. So let's go ahead and add a rectangle here, like this. And I'm gonna change the color to dark blue, pretty awesome. Then I'm gonna add a text here. Let's write, welcome to the world of UI UX design. Let me change the color to white for now. And I'm gonna change the font to SF Pro text. I'm gonna make it larger a little bit. Let's set it to 64. And I think it's better to make it a fixed size text layer like this. Then let me align it to the center and also here, pretty good. Then what else do we need? I'm gonna add some links or menus at the top. So let's write home. I'm gonna make it white as well. Let's make it smaller. I think 24 points is great. Duplicate that. Then let's write pricing. Once again, duplicate that. And here, services. Once again, I'm gonna duplicate that. And now contact us. Pretty good. That's all. So first of all, let's change the spacing between them. And I'm gonna choose this menu in the inspector. And I'm gonna click distribute horizontal spacing like this. And in this way, the spacing between my links or my menus will be equal. And if you want to check the spacing between your objects, you can easily select one text or object and then hold Option key or Alt on your keyboard, and you can hover your mouse on top of the text or shape next to your previous shape. As you can see, it has been set to 25. I'm gonna make it 24 like this. Pretty awesome. And now let's make this text bold. So I'm gonna choose bold. Now it's better. And I'm gonna make it a little bit larger. Pretty good. And let's group our menus at the top. Command G or Control G. And I'm gonna write menus. Pretty awesome. I aligned it vertically as well. And that's all for now. So now as you can see, we have designed this page for MacBook Pro with this dimension 1440 by 900, and it has been designed for landscape mode. So if I change it to portrait, you can see that everything will be disorganized. Okay, so we need to make our page responsive. To do that, first let's select this text, and as you can see in the inspector, you have something called constraints. So we are going to use that, and as you can see, the constraints are set to top and left, but we are going to change it because we need to keep this text to the center of our screen. Okay, I'm gonna change it to center, and let's keep this to top because we need to keep this distance to the top the same. And now if I choose my frame and change it to portrait mode, you can see that it automatically changes its position, and now everything is great. The next thing we need to do is to set constraint for our menus. So let's go back to landscape mode, and now I'm gonna select the menus, and as you can see, the constraints are set to left and top. However, they need to set to the center and top, so I'm gonna change it to the center. And now if I change my frame to the portrait mode, you can see that it will change responsively like this. It's pretty cool, isn't it? However, what if I make my screen even larger like this? You can see that my background is not responsive. So now please pause the video and try to fix that issue by yourself. And then I will show you how you could do that. Alright guys, I'm pretty sure that you could fix that by yourself. However, now I'm gonna show you as well in case that you had difficulties doing that. Alright, so in order to make your background responsive as well, first let's choose this rectangle, which is our background. And as you can see, the constraints are set to the left and top edges. The only thing we need to change is this one. So if we can change it to left and right, everything would be great. Now let's give it a try. Now I'm gonna make my frame even larger. And as you can see, we have a stretchy background like this. That was pretty easy. Alright guys, that's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next video. Hello everyone, I hope you're doing well. In this video, we're gonna be talking about the newest feature of Figma, which is called Auto Layout. The Auto Layout feature has been added to Figma recently, and it's a super powerful feature, and I'm gonna show you how you could use that in order to accelerate your design process and make your life much easier. So without further ado, let's get started. First of all, I'm gonna go ahead and create a button. So to do that, I'm gonna need a rectangle. So let's create one. There we go. I'm gonna set the width to 300 and the height to 70. Nice. Then let's increase the corner radius to 16. And as you can see now, those little circles do not appear here because I'm far away from this button. However, if I zoom a little bit, these circles would appear. All right, now let's change the color to light purple like this. Nice. Then we need a text, obviously. So I'm gonna write login and let's change the color to white. And I'm gonna increase the font size to 24. Pretty good. Let's select both layers and align them both horizontally and vertically. Pretty good. I'm gonna make it a little bit smaller. Now it's better. So let's group them and call it login. Pretty good. And everything is fine now. But suppose that you create this button, you decide to duplicate that and change the text to something else. For instance, you want to change it to get started. And can you see that what's the problem here? So our buttons are not responsive. And previously we needed to customize our buttons separately like this. We needed to resize them manually, and again we had to align them like this. However, now with the help of auto layout, everything will be done in a second. So let me show you how you could do that. First of all, I'm going to duplicate this login button once again. There we go. And as you can see in the inspector, a new section has been added, which is called auto layout. And you can either click on this plus button to add auto layout to your button, or you could hold Shift and A, and that's all. Alternatively, you could right click here and choose add auto layout. All work the same. So as you can see, nothing has been changed here. But if you try to change this text to, for instance, get started, you can see that what's the difference here. Now our button is responsive. That's super cool. And you can also customize the horizontal padding, the vertical padding, and the spacing between items. However, because we have only one item here, we can't use this section. You can change the mode from horizontal to vertical, but you can see the difference here. However, if you're trying to create a list, you can use vertical. And we have different options as well for the height. So as you can see here, we have auto height. So if I try to add some lines like this, the height size will automatically increase, okay? But if I try to change it to fixed height and then I add some lines, you can see that it's not responsive anymore. So you can easily customize the options that you have. Here, this is the horizontal padding. You can change it easily like this. If you're familiar with CSS, it works exactly the same. And also the vertical padding. That is pretty awesome. Now let's try something else. Let's create another rectangle here. And I'm gonna set it to 450 by 80. Nice. Let's increase the corner radius to 24 and change the color to this light purple. Okay. Let's suppose that this is our tab bar. And we are going to add some icons or just simple shapes. So I'm going to create a rectangle like this, and it's going to be 45 by 45. Let's change its color to white. Pretty awesome. I'm going to zoom in a little bit, and then I'm going to create another shape such as a circle, and I'm going to set it to 45 by 45 as well. Let's change the color to white. And lastly, I'm gonna duplicate this square and increase the corner radius like this, and I'm gonna rotate it by 45 degrees. Okay, then let's select all our shapes and click on distribute horizontal spacing to get the same spacing between our shapes, and I'm gonna set it to 91. Then let's group them and select our tab bar and align it to the center, both horizontally and vertically. However, you need to remember, because we are going to make these shapes responsive, we need to ungroup them after alignment. So I'm gonna right click here, ungroup them, and select the tab bar, which is our background here, like this. And once again group them, and I'm gonna call it tab bar. Okay. Then let's press Shift A in order to add auto layout to this group, and everything is done. So how can we check it out? The easiest way is to try to remove one of these shapes. So So I'm gonna remove this circle, and there we go. Our tab bar is responsive now. You could even add more objects and the size would automatically change. So I'm gonna duplicate it, and as you can see, it's perfectly working. That's pretty awesome. You could also change their place easily, like this. That is fantastic. Alright, now we are going to create a more complex auto layout group. So what do you think if we could create a responsive card? That would be nice. So let's go ahead and create a new rectangle right here. And I'm gonna increase the radius to 40, and let's change the dimensions to 300 by 400. Nice. And I'm gonna change the color to white, and let's add stroke to it with the same light purple that we have here. And then I'm gonna add some details to it. Suppose that we are going to have a profile image. So we need a circle here. Let's set it to 70 by 70. And I'm gonna change the color to this purple. Pretty good. And as you can see, the top padding is set to 30. Let's set the left padding to 30 as well. Then I'm gonna add some text. So I need to have name. Let's make it smaller. I think 18 points would be nice. I'm gonna change the color to this purple as well. Duplicate that. And here I'm gonna write surname. Pretty good. And the left padding is going to be 16 pixels, like this. Then I'm gonna add another text, which is the description. For instance, let's write, hello everyone. In this video, we are talking about auto layout in Figma, okay? And I think it's better to make it a fixed size text layer, like this. And I'm gonna change the auto height to 24, pretty awesome. And let's make this card a little bit smaller for now. The top padding is going to be 30, so we need to have 30 to the top for this text and 30 to the bottom. So as you can see, I have 27 and I need to add 3 more. So I can go to height, and here I'm gonna write +3. There we go. Let's make it larger a little bit. Fantastic. Now how can we make this card responsive? We need to use another technique here, because if we just group them, let me show you, and press Shift and A, it's not gonna work and everything is going to be disorganized. So we need to use another way. In this case, we need to have 2 different groups with auto layout. So first we need to create a horizontal auto layout for this profile image placeholder and these 2 texts. So I'm gonna select them and group them. Let's name it user. And now as you can see, we have 2 objects here that are placed vertically. So if I select my rectangle and also this user and this text and group them and call it card, now I can add auto layout perfectly. So I'm gonna press Shift and A, and as you can see, I just created a vertical auto layout. But we need to create a horizontal auto layout for our user as well. So now we need to group this name and surname as well in order to use a horizontal auto layout for these 2 objects as well. So now I'm going to choose the user group and press Shift and A. And as you can see, we just created a horizontal auto layout. Okay. Then I'm going to select my main card and press Shift and A once again. And as you can see, I just created a vertical auto layout. So I'm going to open it up and I'm going to set the alignment of user to the left, and everything is done. So let's give it a try. I'm going to extend this text a little bit to see what's going to happen. Let's see whether it works or not. And yes, as you can see, it works perfectly. So let's write yes, it works perfectly. That's pretty cool. So if you just try to add some lines, you can see that it increases the height size automatically. But what about for this auto layout group? So if I try to change the name to something else, like Mike, and the surname to, I don't know, White, as you can see, nothing happens because it's not that long. So I'm gonna add some random characters here. And as you can see, it works. However, my description text moves along. So I need to fix that issue. In order to fix that, I'm gonna select it And as you can see, it has been aligned to the center. So I'm gonna align it to the left, and now everything is great. So let's try something here. I'm gonna copy and paste it. There we go, it works perfectly. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next video. Hello everyone, and welcome back to another video of this course. In this video, we're going to be talking about images. As a UI UX designer, you work with images all the time, and it's so important to know how you could use unique features of Figma in order to use your images properly. So without further ado, let's get started. As you can see, I have created a simple project here with just 5 circles and 3 squares, and we are going to add images to these circles and also these cards. There are plenty of ways that you could do that. The first one is to just drag and drop your images, and then you will use the mask option, which we will cover in the future lessons. However, there are better ways to do that. So first, make sure to download the assets file that I already prepared for you, and it consists of some images for these cards and some images for these circles. So the first way is to go to shapes, and here we have place image. And if you have downloaded the assets file, you could see that you have 2 different folders, profile and cards. In profile folder, you could see 5 different images, and I'm gonna select all of them and click on open. Pretty good. Right at the top, you have 2 options, place all, discard all. If you click place all of your images will be placed at once, like this. As you can see, you have all of your images, okay? And again, you need to go ahead and use masks in order to put it on those circles, okay? So once again, I'm gonna open those images. And if you click on discard all here, nothing happens. You need to select once again. As you can see, there is a red badge on the top left corner of your images, which indicates the number of images that you have left. So for instance, here we have 5. If I click here, you can see that my first image will be inserted to the canvas. And now I have 4. So I can go ahead and insert all of them. So let me select them once again. In the previous way, you could place your images with their own dimensions, okay? However, if you want to change the dimension, you can easily drag and drop like this. And there we go. You can set the dimension as you want. All right. And the last time, we are going to place these images in our circles. And it's so easy to do that. If you hover your mouse on top of these circles and click, you can see that it's so easy to insert your image in those circles, like this. And that's all. The next way you can insert an image in Figma is to use the fill section. So I'm gonna hold Command key and I'm gonna select this card. And here in fill, if I open this drop menu, you can see that you have image option. And you can choose your image like this. You can also change the exposure of your image, the contrast, the saturation, temperature, tint, highlights, and shadows right here. Okay, you can even rotate it if you want. All right, now we are going to add images to our cards. So let's go ahead and choose place image. And here I'm gonna open up cards. And as you can see, there are 3 different images here. I'm gonna select all of them. Click on open. You need to remember something. If your image is so large, Figma will resize it automatically before you could insert it to Figma. So you need to be aware of this issue as well. Like this. And that's done. Did you see how easy it is to use images in Figma? You could also edit these cards easily like this. There we go. Everything is responsive. That's pretty cool, isn't it? The good news is that unlike other softwares and platforms, in Figma you could insert a GIF file as well. So let's give it a try. So now if I preview this artboard by clicking on this play button, you can see that these images are static. Okay, so what if I add a GIF file to one of these cards? For instance, this one, I'm gonna go ahead and place an image from GIF folder. There we go. Now, as you can see, it's like other normal pictures. However, if I try to preview that, you can see that it's actually different from other pictures because it's a GIF file and it plays in Figma. which is pretty awesome. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it and I will see you in the next video. Hi everyone, I hope you're doing well. In this video, we're going to be talking about the fill section. So without further ado, let's get started with inserting a new shape here. I'm going to create a rectangle. Let's increase the corner radius like this. And on your right in the inspector section, you can see the fill section, okay? And here you could choose your desired color for your object or even your text layer, okay? Like this. For instance, now we choose red, okay? And this red color has a value. The brightness of each color is called its value. And as you can see, if we add white to this color, it gets lighter. And if we add black to this color, it gets darker and darker. You can also use the eyedropper for choosing your color like this. And you can also choose your color with the hex code here, okay? You can set it to RGB, CSS, HSL, and HSB. But most of the time we use hex code. Sometimes we need to change the opacity of each color. In that case, you could use this slider like this. And as you can see, now it gets transparent. Or you could use this percentage here, like 20%, pretty good. And right at the bottom, you could see your document colors. As you can see, we don't have any document colors because we haven't created one yet. However, in the future's lessons, we will talk about it. Right at the top left, you could see a drop menu, okay? If I open it, you can see that you have plenty of options. The first one is solid. And as you can see, you could only choose a single and base color, okay? If you want to use a gradient, you could choose linear like this. And for instance, I can choose the second color here. However, it's set to transparent. I can increase the opacity to 100%. And with these controllers, you can change the direction of your gradient like this. You could even add more colors to your gradient. If you click here like this, I can choose this color as well. Pretty awesome. The other option that you have is radial gradient, okay? You have also angular like this, and then we have diamond like this, and image that I already talked about. However, the two most important options are solid and linear, okay? You could also change the opacity of your color or gradient here like this, and you can hide it if you want or remove it. And here you can change your color mode from normal to color, saturation, hue, difference. We will talk about these options later. However, if you want to see what's going to happen if you change it, we need another object. So I'm gonna create a new rectangle like this. And let's set its color to something like this blue. And I'm going to change the color mode to color like this. You can see the difference here. I can set it to overlay like this, screen, etc. Alright guys, that's all for this video. Thank you so much for watching it. I hope you enjoyed it and I will see you in the next video. Hi everyone, welcome back to another video of this course. In this video, we're going to be talking about the stroke section. So first of all, let me create a new shape. This time I'm going to choose a circle like this. And right under the fill section that we have talked about in the previous video, we have the stroke section. And I'm going to click on this plus button in order to add the stroke to my shape. And here we have different properties such as color. Again, you have all those options. Like in the fill, you have the thickness of your stroke that you can change here. And you have the positioning property here as well that you can change it from inside to center and to outside. So basically it means that this stroke applies to the outside of your shape. And this one, it means that this stroke applies to the inside of your shape. And here you have the advanced option, and we already talked about it. You have round, square, line arrow, and triangle arrow. However, it doesn't work here because we need to have a line or a path in order to use these options. You could also make it dash. For example, I can write 2,5 like this, or let's say 10. I can easily change it here. 40, that's pretty cool. And of course you can hide it or remove it. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next video. Hi everyone, and welcome back to another video of this course. In this video, we're going to be talking about the effects section. As a matter of fact, we use the effects section so many times when we are designing a user interface. For instance, there are times that you want to add some shadows to your object or even to your text, or probably you want to add a blur effect to your object or to your background. In these cases, we can use the effects section. So without further ado, let's get started. As you can see here, I have created a simple square and I changed its color to this hex color code, okay? 00, 38 and FF. Now I'm gonna add some drop shadow to it, okay? So let's go to effects section and I'm gonna click on this plus button, and here you have a drop menu. You have inner shadow, and as you can see, this option will add some shadows inside of your object. If you want to modify your shadow, you can click on the sun icon, and here you have the advanced options. You have the blur amount, now it's set to 4. I'm going to change it to 100, and as you can see, changes apply immediately. You could also change the x-axis. Let's set it to 20 and this one to 10. Of course, you cannot see the changes here because it's actually inside our object. However, we will try these options for drop shadows as well. The next option you have is the color of your shadow. You can easily change it to any color you want, and the opacity is set to 25% by default. If you want to change it, you could of course increase it or decrease it like this. You have also the mode menus here, pretty awesome. Let's change the type of shadow to drop shadow, okay? And most of the time we use drop shadow when we are designing a user interface. So now let's go and change this color to black, and I'm gonna set it to 25%, pretty awesome. And then let's change the blur to 40 and the X to 0 and the Y to 20. If you want to get a very good drop shadow, you can calculate your numbers like me. For instance, if you set the blur to 40, you could divide it by 2 and set that number as the Y amount, like here. And then I'm gonna change the opacity to 20%, like this. Pretty nice, isn't it? As you can see, it looks pretty good. However, I'm gonna suggest you something. In order to make your shadow more realistic, it's a good idea to choose the same color for your shadow as your object's color, like this, okay? And then decrease the opacity to, for instance, 15% or even 10%. It's totally up to you. However, it makes more sense because actually colorful objects don't have black shadows, okay? So if I duplicate this square and I change this color to, for example, something like this, okay? I can change the shadow to the same color and decrease it to 10% or 15%, like this. Can you see the slight difference here? It makes it more realistic. All right. So now let's go ahead and talk about other options as well. As you can see here, you have layer blur and background blur. So if I choose layer blur, as you can see, it blurs my selected layer, okay? And I can change the amount here like this. Pretty awesome. I'm gonna set it to 10, and you have the background blur as well. But as you can see, when I choose that, nothing happens because I don't have anything behind this shape. So if I want to see the effect of the background blur, I need to have something behind it. So let's go ahead and choose this square, and I'm gonna place an image in that. So let's choose this one, pretty good. Then I'm gonna put this square on top of my image, like this. And here, as you can see, the background blur is selected, but you cannot see anything because when you're using the background blur, you need to decrease the opacity of your fill in order to see the changes, not the opacity of your layer. If I change it to 50, you can see that nothing happens. But if I change the opacity of my color to 50%, you can see the effect. And now I'm going to change the color as well to something else like this. and let's decrease it to 30%, and I'm gonna change the blur amount to 20%, and that is fantastic. So let me remove this layer and then add a circle here like this, make it black, and then add background blur to it, and let's decrease the opacity to 30%. And I'm gonna set the blur amount to 50, and now you can clearly see the effect. You can also add the effects to the text layers. So if I create a text layer here, let's write hello, you can see that I can add a drop shadow, the inner shadow, the layer blur, and also the background blur as well, like this. Alright guys, that's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next video. Hello everyone, and welcome back to another video of this course. In this video, we're gonna be talking about the color styles. So just like text style, you could create your own color style. So first of all, let's go ahead and create a rectangle here, and I'm gonna increase the corner radius to 40, like this. Then let's set the solid color to something like this blue, pretty nice. And I'm gonna duplicate it, and then let's change the opacity to 75%. Once again, duplicate it, and this time I'm gonna change it to 50%, and again I'm gonna duplicate it, and now let's change it to 25%. Okay, so I just created 4 different colors with the same base color, however with 4 different values. As you can see, it gets lighter and lighter, so I'm gonna select them, duplicate them, and here I'm gonna choose another color as well. I think this one is great, so let's copy and paste this hex color code for the others like this. Okay, but how can you create your own color style? It's so easy. Just like text styles, first you need to select your object or your layer, and then here you can click on these 4 dots, and here you can click on this plus icon, which creates your color style. So I'm gonna write primary/purple because it looks like a purple color. So I'm gonna write primary/purple, and let's click on create style. Pretty good. Then I'm gonna choose this one, and let's do the same thing for this. And this time let's write secondary/pink. And for this one, I can say primary purple 75%, like this. And this one, primary purple 50%, and so on. All right. So as you can see here, you have different color styles. You have primary purple, you have secondary pink, primary purple 75%, and so on. So how can you apply these color styles to your shapes or your objects? It's so simple. So first of all, let's create a new shape. Let's create a circle here like this. And in order to apply your color style, you can click on these 4 dots, and here you can get access to your color styles. Here you have primary, here you have secondary. We created 4 different primary colors and only 1 secondary, and we will dive into creating your own design system in its own section in this course. So now I can choose primary purple, and that's all. I can duplicate it, and here I can change it to secondary pink. Or if you want to change some properties of this shape, you can detach it from its style by clicking on this icon like this, and you can freely change the color. Just like color styles, you can also create styles for effects or for a stroke. Okay, so if you click on these 4 dots, you can create an effect style or a stroke style. So what are the advantages of using color styles in your projects? Just like text styles, creating your color styles is gonna save you so much time, because if you decide to change this primary color later, you can easily head over to this color style, and then you can modify it by clicking on this edit style icon like here, and changes will apply immediately. Alright guys, that's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next video. Hello everyone, and welcome back to another video of this course. In this video, we're going to be talking about masks. Actually, masks allow you to show a specific portion of an image or an object. Okay, so whenever you want to use a specific section of an image, you can easily use masks. Or if you want to present only a portion of an object, you could still use masks for that. So how can you use masks? As you can see here, I have created a square and I have placed an image from our assets file. And if I want to use masks, first I need to choose this layer, and then I can click on mask icon right at the top like this. And after clicking on this icon, your layers will be disappeared. Okay, so now I can select my image from the layers list, and then I'm gonna move it to the left side. And as you can see, now it has been clipped. You need to keep in mind that masks will apply to all layers above it. Okay, so here if I move this image layer to the bottom of my mask, you can see that nothing happens. The other way of applying a mask to your layer is to choose both layers. So first I'm gonna put this image on top of my rectangle or square, and then I'm gonna choose both of them and then click on mask like this. The other important thing that you need to keep in mind is that if you're using a gradient or an effect for your rectangle and you want to use masks, you need to duplicate your shape in order to keep those effects. Okay, so if I add some drop shadow here like this, I'm gonna set it to 20 and the Y to 10, and then I'm gonna create my mask. However, now as you can see, my drop shadow color has been changed. So in order to fix that issue, before creating my mask, I can duplicate my rectangle. I'm gonna put it here, right below my mask layer, and then I can create my mask easily. And now as you can see, I have a mask group. So if I wanna put this rectangle, which is my drop shadow, into this group, I need to make sure that I place it right below my mask layer here. Because if I put it above that, this mask layer will apply to this rectangle as well. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next video.